Fuck. So you're a police officer, huh?
Yes, sir, I am. Welcome everybody to wrestling who are watching on Wrestling Review Society Facebook page, YouTube page, Brothers of the Belt on Facebook, multi-generational wrestling society, Brothers of the Belt, and love those wrestling belts. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm here with my very special guest. You can call him Ian, you can call him Mr. Hodgkinskin, but we're just going to call him Vampiro. Vamp, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm about to get lit, homie.
That is awesome. So our first comment from the crowd came in. My good buddy Josh Hammer. He's a huge fan of yours, and he's been looking forward to this all week.
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I got to say thank you.
Thank you.
Say hello to your people. And before we get into all this, I need to. You said something to me off air like 2 seconds ago that your hero is who, or your role model is who?
Chris Van Vliet.
Fucking thing won't open.
I've actually got to meet him a few times in person. He's always been real nice to me. He's given me really good advice, and I kind of want to follow a career path much like his. And I really enjoyed your guys' interview. My wife actually made this for him. She makes all custom merchandise, and this is his.
Where's my shit?
All you got to do is say the word.
Dude, listen, the reason I brought this up is because he's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, and his interviews kind of put me back in the spotlight a little bit. I'm going to turn that light off because it's driving me nuts. My advice
Whatever
to
he
you,
wants, I'll make it.
my advice, thank you. My advice to you is don't try to be like anybody, man.
Absolutely.
You're doing that. You be you. You're a police officer, and you're doing this. So what does that mean? That means that you work a really shitty hours. You're in a high stress situation. You have a family. You're a young man, and you're doing this because you love it. That,
yes, sir.
My friend, speaks volumes about your character. You don't need to be like anybody. You be you. They're gonna copy you one day. Understand?
Yes, sir. Thank you. My good friend Piers, all the way from Australia, is watching us.
Who's the other dude? The Hammer? What?
Oh, Josh Hammer. He's a huge fan of yours, and he's been looking forward to this all week.
Well, Josh, welcome. And who's the other dude?
Piers Austin. He lives in Australia.
Fuck, Pierce. Everybody's praying for you all down there, you know? I hope is it starting to get better for them?
I spoke to him recently. The fires did get really close to his house, but never to the point where they had to evacuate. But he said they've started to subside, and his family's looking really good.
Good. Because, I mean, the smoke got to Mexico from Australia. How's that?
Yeah.
Pretty intense.
And Piers also said he loves the shirt. Oh, right there.
What shirt?
Your Misfit shirt.
Huh? Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
All right.
Is marijuana legal where you are, Mr. Police Officer?
Absolutely not. But you're not here where I am.
I don't give a fuck.
I love it. So I want to go ahead and start the interview. First off, I want to know how you're feeling today. You've really had this road to recovery with your health and everything. How are you feeling today as you sit here and talk to us?
I feel awesome. I was really sick. You know, and I was kind of on the fence about doing more interviews because I know I'm a controversial person, and sometimes I say things that in my mind at the moment they make sense, but then I can see by some of the comments either they're very offensive or people are just really stupid. And I think I'm going to go with the I'm offensive. Sometimes I forget that the majority of my career was in another country in another language. So I'm accustomed to being in a certain demographic, like on TV, for over 36 years in Mexico and Latin America. So when I speak and say things, I do it like I always do because so many people have grown up with the character in another country. So they're accustomed to my history. They know the way I speak. They understand my whole mess.
Yes.
Sometimes when I come on the United States, and people saw me on WCW 12 years ago for a year and a half. That's what they base their judgments on when they respond to me, and I also am the guilty one because I forget that I need to be careful about these things, and that's a problem with a lot of pro wrestlers, and myself included. We believe that we're more important and more famous, or more. We have more to say that means something than most. And if you talk to most wrestlers, they're just really dumb people. And I don't mean to be offensive, but it is what it is. And I was sick. I had some strokes. I got diagnosed with the Alzheimer's and the Parkinson's, and my body is broken from all the years in the ring. And I know that, and it's my fault. It's like, oh, not poor Ian or poor Vampiro. This just happened. No, I brought it on, so I'm guilty, and I kind of deserve it because I played with fire, so you get burned, right? But I wasn't ready to give in or throw my life away or oh, poor me, or oh my God, what's going to happen. I took it as the opposite. I took it as the opportunity to discover other things in life, get educated, find a new career, change things, hopefully leave the wrestling industry behind me, because it's not mine anymore. It never, I did my time. I had my success. I still love doing the commentating and all that kind of stuff, but it belongs to the new generation of fans and the new generation of super talent that exists. So when I started talking publicly about my health, the response I got from the world, none of them were wrestling fans. They were doctors, lawyers, police officers, firefighters. I do a lot of work with the vets who are coming back from tours of duty with heavy duty PTSD. So I've been doing so much more with my life away from wrestling that sometimes I forget that I have to be careful and watch how I present the answers, because I don't want to offend anybody, and I certainly don't want to provoke negative comments, even though they're going to come. But I've been blessed, dude. I followed the therapy. I got to Las Vegas exactly 11 months ago. My doctor told me, he says, you're 150% better. He showed me the tests. He showed me the pictures. It doesn't mean that I'm cured. It means that we've accomplished the goal. Stop taking headshots. Stop wrestling in shitty rings. Follow the protocols, do the therapy, get into the meditation, find a spiritual guide, take the supplementation, change your diet, use medicinal marijuana instead of shitty opiates, and the results are there, man. I'm fucking rocking, dude. That's how I'm doing.
Absolutely. You bring up a few things. One, the medicinal marijuana. You got onto that when you were with Lucha Underground, and I believe you said after 20 years of taking opiates, so many X amount of opiates a week, within 2 days you were able to get off all of it.
You just want to fucking throw me down and handcuff my ass right now, don't
you? No, sir, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much instantaneous because at that point, the opiates were being given to me and everybody else in many professions without any consequences or accountability, because there was none. Nobody knew, right? So I had been taking high doses of pain meds, sleep meds, anxiety meds for over 20 years. So it wasn't working anymore. So it was more out of habit, not so much an addiction, more like the addiction was not to get high. The addiction was like every other junkie. I need this to function, right? And it's fucking bullshit, dude. So as soon as I started taking medicinal marijuana and changed my diet, and I went plant-based and veganism and all that, my body responded in a heartbeat, because my body, being an athlete and having the education that I have and the different beliefs I have, my body was dying to get back on track. So as soon as I started mentally responding, my body was like, fuck those drugs. And that's kind of what happened. Some people said, oh, how is it possible? It's like, you know what? Fuck you guys, the ones who are negative. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
People don't get sympathetic to people who have mental health issues or any kind of addiction issues until it hits home and it's a family member or a loved one that dies. real easy to
Absolutely.
point the finger and laugh, but you know, it's kind of like, don't even get mad anymore because it's just like, you ignorant motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
hmm I 100% understand that. I served 6.5, almost 7 years in the Army, came out, became a police officer, surrounded by people with PTSD and mental health issues. And you never really know what goes on with each person is different. Their needs are
Yep.
different. And
Yep.
who are you to judge because you're not in that position? You speak about living in different cultures, like in Mexico and stuff. And you're originally from Canada. It's where you grew
Yeah.
up. What was your
Hmm.
life like before pro wrestling, growing up in Canada?
Oh, it was awesome. Um, you know, it was very difficult because back then there was no social media, there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no Spotify, there was no nothing. There wasn't even MTV. There were three TV channels. So if you were like myself, attracted to the alternative lifestyle, um, gothic, dark clothing, punk rock haircuts, alternative music. And I grew up in a very small town in Canada, and there was only one record store. Well, there was a few record stores, but you know, they each had a little section of alternative music. There was no scene.
Hmm
So back then, uh, you know, like I ran away from home a few times. I went to New York City, I went to Toronto, I went to Montreal to see punk shows, to hang out in punk clubs, to see guys and girls dressed as punk rockers so that I would, I mean, you had to do that because you couldn't turn on the internet. You couldn't Google it. You had to go and do it. And, you know, I got my ass kicked a lot of times. Um, you know, scared to death, slept on the street, did all that stuff just to be around the vibe. Um, so it was very tough growing up and having those kind of influences and desires to be a part of something more progressive, and living in a very small town that wasn't going to happen. So it wasn't pleasant. Um, but instead of becoming another statistic, I took that motivation and I went out into the world and kind of lived like a gypsy, just going from place to place, experiencing life, and that's the life I've lived, and I absolutely would not change it for anything.
My good friend Bill Grits, his comments coming in. He wants to know, what province of Canada were you from?
Ontario.
You bring up the rock music and the punk scene and everything. I've done a lot of homework on you over the last couple of days, watching interviews and watching you on TV and stuff. You have a very interesting story of how you got into the music scene you did. More particularly, your mother used to own properties, and you went and helped her clean one day, or you were cleaning properties, and a man had committed suicide or something along those lines, and you found his record collection.
Yeah, you did your homework, huh?
I
Holy
try
shit.
to. I try to.
One of the beauties of having PTSD and Alzheimer's being diagnosed is you have no memory. So I fucking love life because every day is brand new, man. And I
You know,
keep
you
telling everybody, I play PlayStation and I play the same fucking game every single day, and it's always new. Because I don't remember it. So
mm,
I forgot all about that until you brought it up. Yeah, I remember my mom. I just remember I was in grade 7, so I was like 11 or 12 years old, and my mom was trying to give us a better life. So she was trying to. She bought another property and she was trying to rent it out, and you know, she was a single mom, and I didn't know what the hell am I supposed to say. So yeah, I'll never forget it. You know, just that sensation of. I knew I was kind of weird, right? Because the fact that there was a suicide in the house kind of woke something up in me, and I wanted to be around that. I don't know. And I went into his bedroom to help move his stuff, and he had the,
hmm
the, the plastic milk cartons, and the first thing I saw was the London Calling
hmm
cover with the bass player smashing the guitar. Um, that did it for me. I was like, I'm going there.
And then you were playing, I believe you said you were playing hockey, and a player from Sweden introduced you to the Sex Pistols.
His name was Sven Olofsson. Yeah, we were great friends, and he started talking to me about the Sex Pistols because, and you can check it out. I mean, the Sex Pistols, when they were banned in England, they did a tour with Sid Vicious. That was his first real Sex Pistols thing. They went to Sweden, and it was immensely successful. And there's a lot of pictures, and there's bootlegs and things from that little tour. But he told me about that because he went, and I was just like, it's like, when some kids hear the Harry Potter stories, or some kids hear whatever story it is to inspire their daydreams. Mine was that punk rock, the Sex Pistols. When I saw the picture of Sid Vicious with no shirt on and a bloody nose and the spiky black hair and the low bass and the leather jacket with the collar turned up, and the Clash, they were kind of leaving the punk look, and they were a little bit more rockabilly looking. And then, the Stray Cats came out, and some bands were becoming skinhead bands, and all this fashion was happening. And of course, the Ramones, and obviously the Kings of the Kings. I was like, fuck, I got to get out of here. I was born in the wrong time and place, and that was it. Yeah.
So at age 14, you began wrestling for International Wrestling in Montreal. How was it?
15. 14
15?
Yeah.
How was it being so young, stepping into the professional wrestling scene, especially in Canada? I believe that was like 1984.
It was around there, 84, 85. I got drafted, semi-pro hockey for Kingston. And they were a farm team from Montreal, Canadians at that time. And but I was bored with playing hockey. I was over it. And when I went to training camp, I had tattoos. I had cut my hair really short, and I had dyed it pitch white. I went with cut off sleeves, and I had this studded belt, and I showed up to training camp. And back then, in the 80s, there was no pro athletes with tattoos. Now you can't be a pro athlete unless you have tattoos from your eyelids to your toenails.
Absolutely.
And I just got there, and the problem was I was the size I am now. That's the size I was when I was 12. So there were a lot of years there where it was kind of like, not that I was better, but I was bigger and more advanced athletically. And I was just bored with hockey. It was kind of like it's just not my thing anymore. And when I didn't make the team because of I'm assuming my attitude or my look or whatever it was, it broke a lot of hearts. And I just wanted to be a kid, and the music started really influencing me. But I had the urge to be an athlete, right? Because I spent my whole life being an athlete. Then I saw pro wrestling, and I was like, this is it. This is where I can mix my love of alternative music with the fashion, the look, the attitude, and I can mix that with sports, because pro wrestling was pretty athletic. And that's kind of how it all happened. That was
absolutely. It gave you the opportunity to be that athlete, but still present it in your own way.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, believe me. And you got to remember, this is like mid-'80s. So wrestlers, this was before WWE, when it was just, it was kind of WWF, and then it was WWF. And they didn't even have national television yet. So you can imagine the mentality of the wrestlers back then. There wasn't that many wrestlers. It wasn't like it is now, where every fucker in the planet has a backyard wrestling promotion and there's world champions in every corner. There were three. There were three in the world. And it was NWA, AWA, and Japan. That's it. There was one national champion, and all the bookers worked with each other, and he would go from territory to territory and come in and out, and business was done, organized. There was one character. You didn't have 10 George the Animal Steels. You had one George the Animal Steel, and he was in character all the time. You had one vampire. You didn't have every other motherfucker in pro wrestling with dyed hair and a weird haircut and tattoos and being an alternative, rebellious, oh my God, you're such a poor little emo kid, you know? There was only one. So things were different. So when you have a young kid who's like 17 show up looking like Billy Idol, wearing makeup and very thin with a bunch of steroided out, you know, half alcoholic fucking meatheads who are throwback from the caveman days, I wasn't really understood, to say the least.
It's funny that you bring up George the Animal Steel. Through marriage, no blood relation, he was actually married into my family. He was my uncle by marriage.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right.
So you wrestled in Montreal, and WWE started moving in and taking over, and international wrestling in Montreal kind of dried up, and they told you, you know, you can go to Japan, you can go to Memphis, you can go to Mexico. And you decided, in your exact words, let's go to Mexico because Mexico sounds fucking weird. Being a megastar in Mexico at the age of 21, right around that time, how was it adapting from Canada to Mexico? And if you were able to talk to somebody going to Mexico, what are some of the things you would tell them you absolutely don't do in Mexico?
Well, I didn't go from Canada to Mexico. I was in New York, and then I went to Los Angeles. I spent some years in Los Angeles in the music scene and working in different nightclubs and working for different artists, the Bodyguard and all that kind of stuff.
That was Club Rubber, wasn't it?
Canada. Yeah, Rubber. Yeah.
Owned by Mickey Rourke
and Billy Idol. Well, actually, Billy Idol's wife was like Perry Lister. She was kind of like the club promoter. I didn't know. I was just there, just standing there with a bunch of movie stars all over the place. I didn't know what was going on. I went back to Canada, did something bad, and left.
Absolutely. So just while you bring up the club scene,
but to finish your question, what not to do in Mexico? It's the same thing you would do anywhere. You can do anything you want. Just don't break the law and don't hurt anybody. Just don't be stupid. You know, be respectful. My advice to anybody in any scenario is open your eyes, close your mouth, open your ears, analyze, and then respectfully try to go in and fit in. Don't go in there disrespecting anything. That's going to get you nowhere. Yeah.
I got you. You bring up the club scene, and like I said, I know you worked at Club Rubber, owned by Mickey Rourke and Billy Idol. You started out working the front door, and you got moved to the VIP area, worked there for a while, and ended up you became the bodyguard for Milli Vanilli. What was that like?
It was an education in everything. Because I got to see the stress, the power of fame, the power of drugs, the power of sex. I got to see the machine behind the success. I got to see a lot of things. I learned a lot. I learned that most celebrities are just like me and you. They're not very bright. They're in the right place at the right time, or they're somebody's product. No matter how much they say that they're not, I'm telling you, I saw it. It was interesting. It was interesting. It was. If it wasn't for that, seeing so much failure and corruption, I don't think I would have survived as Vampiro in Mexico.
Coming over to some of the viewer comments, Josh Hammer would like to know your thoughts on the current wrestling in the United States today.
Uh, I think I would rather say it's awesome that the fans have access to so many products because this is a fan driven industry. We don't deserve the fame. The fans made us famous, so it's our responsibility to give the fans the best product there is. Things have evolved. The wrestling, I don't really watch it because I just don't understand it. It's not my generation. I think athletically they're fucking insanely talented, but I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it because I've been in it so long. So I'd rather not watch it and be bitter on it. I don't have any right to do that. It's not fair. I'm nobody to say anything about anybody's making a living and bringing money and food home to their family. So God bless the talent. God bless them. I think the fans are benefiting from it, and I think God bless the fans. I don't think enough credit is given to the fans. Everybody's like AEW, WWE, All Japan, New Japan. Look, motherfuckers, AEW, WWE, All Japan, New Japan. None of them motherfuckers would exist if you didn't have fans spending their hard-earned dollars and time watching your product. Your product is not owed anything by the fans. You, us, me, we owe everything to the fan. So if you get a young man or a young woman who works minimum wage, goes to school, is struggling, and doesn't have a lot of resources, and they budget themselves so they have enough money to support our industry, fuck our industry. Thank you to the fans.
Thank you. In June 26, 1998, you debuted in WCW. What was it like stepping through that curtain for your first match, feeling the crowd? Obviously, you'd done this prior, but was it different in WCW? Was there more of a big-time feel to it? And what were some of your favorite memories from WCW?
Dude, fuck all that. Let's talk about curtains. You got a curtain right behind your head. You're a talented guy, and you're really good at this. You're different. You're unique. I enjoy this interview. You're respectful, and you've done your homework. People are going to be honored to be on your show. You should have a logo behind you, dude, that has your website in big letters where people can see it.
Yes.
You should, and you put that camera down a little bit more, and don't do this, do that. You see how big this logo is? You got to have let people see you, brother. There, you see that with that bullshit, what is that, NWO?
No, this is another Facebook group that sponsors us. It's the VOH, the Voice of Honor. It's a promo group.
So, you see how you got that mic right in front of their logo? You should have their logo right up behind your left ear so they can see that. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
This is what I love about wrestling, being a producer, seeing things like that, because you're a talented guy. You're really good at this. If you if you did all that, you would just bring your game up because you would look the part. Does that make sense?
It does. And my wife, like I said, she makes all the custom designs and stuff. She's actually working on a banner for the show.
Awesome.
It just we just got the materials and stuff in.
That's so awesome, because if I told you what it was like for me 23 years ago, who gives a shit? It's more exciting for me to see you follow your dream, dude. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Thank you.
These motherfuckers weren't even alive when I went through the curtains. So who cares?
All right. Now there are a few people that have sent. I've taken pre-submitted questions. This is one of the.
Pretty fucking good on your camera, man. I'm a handsome
you do. You really are. No homo. A lot of the questions we got were, what was it like for you working with the Misfits in WCW? As you said recently, Doyle from the Misfits actually helped you with the face paint. You got the skull from him. You asked him if you could use it. He said, absolutely, go for it. What was it like being able to work with some of your friends in professional wrestling?
Even if you were a homo, I would say you have good taste. What the hell? Yeah, Doyle. I remember when we all kind of started, going for it, and I just remember one day, it was so cool, man. It was so it was kind of neat because you got these dudes, the Misfits, right, all painted and buffed out, and they just kind of look intimidating. When you see them in person up close, it is intimidating. And they just showed up today with the dressing room, and I was in there, and I was, hey, guy, you know, and they were like, we got something for you, and I was like, what? And they gave me a picture disc, and they all signed it, and they were all excited, and it was one, you know, we all hugged, and everybody was kind of like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And I was like, I don't know, nothing, I guess. And then we were preparing for the match, and they were like, okay, tonight you're wearing these, and Doyle gave me his armbands. And then Jerry gave me his shin guards, like those things he puts on over the boots. And then Jerry gave me his vest. He made me a vest with the spikes. And I was like, I'm not even going to get excited because I don't want them to know I'm a fanboy. But I was like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. And then Michael Graves was like, Vamp, you gotta paint your fucking face, brother. And I was like, I don't know how. So then Doyle did the eyes. He showed me how to do the eyes. He explained the differences of using black eyeshadow and liquid paint and oil-based paint and water-based paint. Then we did my eyes. Then Jerry gave me his red eyeliner because you know you put the red eyeliner on the inside of the black, so it just brings it out more and you look more dead. Then Doyle taught me how to cave in the temples. He showed me how to mix the paint into the hairline, and then we did the jawline, and then we did the outline. So once that was done, we just filled it in with white. And Doyle taught me how to use my fingertip and mix the white and black so it would go gray. And he taught me how to do all that, and it was like, it was pretty fucking badass. And that was it.
It looked absolutely great. Now, I wanted to avoid Sting questions because I know you get them all the time. But the one that everybody's wanting me to ask you, the disagreement about the face paint. How did that come to be?
This is another. I'm glad you asked it. Thank you. The fans need to know that 99% of the rumors that you hear that happened didn't happen. We never had a disagreement. The boys in the dressing room tried to stir shit up, and the office told me that he was uncomfortable with it, but the office gave an executive decision to let me continue to paint my face. It wasn't me. I had no problem just doing the little lines. I had no problem finding another way to go. In Mexico, I kind of treated the character like Muda or Mudo. Depends. If he was just a normal dude, he would come out in his little speedos and he would wrestle. But if you pissed him off, he would paint up and come out in a different thing. That's the way I treated it in Mexico because he was my hero and I stole it from him 100%. In WCW, they didn't get it. They didn't understand it. It was the transition in wrestling where it was still the old guard, but the new generation was coming in and, you know, musicians were getting involved and the audience was expanding. So they just decided to let me continue to do it. And he didn't like that. I was told, I don't know. Him and I have never spoken about it. But, you know, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Go to the NBA and say, no. Only Michael Jordan can dunk the basketball. All you other motherfuckers, some of you are 7'9", I know. But you can't dunk the ball. Really?
So when you talk about the face paint being a transition, so if I'm not mad at you, I'm this guy, and then when I put on the face paint, I'm a completely different guy. You and Muda were two of the first people to do it. And now today we have guys like Finn Balor and The Fiend. You know, they're this one character, they put the mask on, they're another character. Do you feel like by you guys doing it first, you contributed to that in any way?
I don't think so. I mean, there's some comparisons between me and Aleister Black. I don't see it. He's 10 times the wrestler I ever was. He's a great guy. And he's his version of him. No, I don't think so. I mean, I had the fortune of meeting Finn Balor in the airport in Chicago not too long ago. Super. Hey man, Vamp, I'm a big fan. I was like, I'm a fucking fan of you, brother. What are you talking about? He was super cool, dude. I don't know. I mean, I like the book Dracula, but I ain't a fucking fan of Twilight. But there's 200 million teen girls who love vampires now because of that series. It's your perspective, dude. I mean, there were plenty of vampires and plenty of musicians who did what I did way before I was even thought of. And there's going to be plenty more when I'm gone. So for any wrestler or anybody, but especially wrestlers, to get all butthurt about stuff like that, come on, man. Just stop that shit. Just not supposed to be that way, man.
Absolutely. So most recently, as far as professional wrestling goes, we saw you on commentary with Lucha Underground. How were you approached to be a commentator for Lucha Underground? Vamp? One quick second, guys. A slight technical difficulty. He may have gotten a phone call. So we're just going to hang out for just a few minutes. If there's any questions you guys have, feel free to go ahead and drop them in. I'm getting to them as fast as I can. I really do want to take advantage of all the time I do have with Vampiro. Also, if you want your questions to show up like this, where we can see your name and your picture, go to /Facebook, or sorry, StreamYard/Facebook, and it will grant them permission to use your name and your photo. That way, instead of looking like Facebook user, we know exactly who we're talking to, and we'll be able to address you personally. And Vampiro is that. No, it's all good, man. I was just letting everybody know that we are taking comments from the viewers. If you want your name and photo to show up like this one, all you have to do is go to StreamYard/Facebook and grant them permission to use your name and your photo, so your questions will look like this and not like this. That way we know who we're talking to and we can address you by name.
You have to, I want to talk to you off the air about this particular software that you're using. I think it's fucking incredible, and I'd like you to turn me on to it. So
absolutely. Yeah, just
so
whenever
DM me your phone number, and I'll call you either tonight or tomorrow. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
All right.
So,
what was it like Lucha Underground being a commentator?
Yeah, how are you approached to be a commentator? Because a lot of people that have sent in their questions have said that Vampiro didn't really sound like your commercial-produced commentator. It was more like a fan calling wrestling, and they were able to relate to that a lot more. Was it always a goal for you to be a commentator?
No. I think that AAA was extremely... Is that better?
Yeah, that's great.
This is a fucking thing. It's because those lights, dude. AAA gave me things were kind of, I didn't even know about Lucha Underground, and AAA, Dorian Roldan, who's the owner of AAA, said, I know things aren't working out in Mexico. I might, I was leaving to Canada because I just got custody of my daughter. She was 13. I didn't know what to do. Mexico for me had kind of run its course. So Dorian came to me and said, hey, I got this new project called Lucha Underground, and I got one spot left for a commentator. He said, I don't want to say any names, but there's a lot of people who do not want you involved in this project. And I said, okay, well, thanks for telling me. He goes, no. I want you to have the job. So that's how it happened. And I went to the first TV taping. And then when the people in Hollywood, the Barnett people and the Robert Rodriguez people, saw that all the people that were trying to block me were full of shit and they were completely wrong, I was kind of talented. So I helped them agent the matches. I helped with creative a little bit. They would always run things by me, just knowing that I would support that. I was a good policeman, I guess. In the dressing room, I carried a lot of weight. They saw I had no ego, so when I approached the agenting or the choreographing of things or guidance of the younger talent, they saw that they could count on me 100%, and they saw that the talent responded to me. So they made me director of talent, and I became one of the major agents. And I was very close to the writing team as friends. And the bosses really, really used me with confidence to put out the fires. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I think I excelled at it. I think it was the first time in my whole career that I was excited about wrestling, because I wasn't Vampiro the wrestler. I loved my job. I loved the team. I loved everybody on the staff. I loved that. I just loved it. Loved it. It was just one of those things that, it was probably the greatest time in my career, for sure. Helping Pentagon, just the crowd, everybody, man. It was just, I was very fortunate, and I was very grateful, very grateful.
So with that being said, and your passion for teaching the younger guys coming up, because you said that, when it came
Matt
to
Stryker.
Pentagon.
Sorry, Matt Stryker. If it wasn't for Matt, there was absolutely no way I would have been a commentator. I wasn't a commentator. I was a guy who gave Matt the security to be free to be the greatest commentator. That's Matt. I'm just that, when he needed to breathe, or he needed some obscureness, or there was something that needed to be done, or if he was, really into it, he was animated on screen, I would jump up and run in the crowd, and it would just give his verbiage that much more fucking whatever that was. So that's what I did. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you said in previous interviews, Pentagon, you knew he was great. You knew there was something, but he was doing things that got over in Mexico, but he was struggling to get over here, and you really stepped in and helped him out with that. With that being said, and your passion for that, would you ever consider being a coach or trainer for like an NXT or an AEW?
Fuck, in a heartbeat, of course. I mean, I'm better at that than I ever was at being Vampiro in the ring, 100%, because it all comes from punk rock. It's kind of like, you can do this too. It's that excitement of, you don't need to know how to play, you have to feel how to play. It's in you or it's not, and to go out there and rock the show and say, hey, come, you do it. I fucking love that. And I would love to be a coach. Yeah, but I no one's banging down my doors, so kind of moved on, and I'm sure they've moved on too.
Another question from our viewers. My good friend Stephen Hammer, no relation to Josh Hammer. Ironically, I thought they were brothers too, but he says
they're just a bunch of big penis dudes with a name.
He would like to know, because we're in a lot of belt collecting groups and wrestling memorabilia collecting. He wants to know, did you? Yeah, I have 32 belts in my collection. He wants to know if you had any favorite belts, or do you own any yourself?
Okay. I want to buy the belts that I've won in my career so I can put them on in my, I don't know where the fuck I'd put them, but one day my daughter can tell her kids, this is what your granddad did. I don't have any of them, and I've won like 28 of them.
I have an amazing friend who makes all of my belts.
Then we're gonna have to have he can custom up my shit.
Absolutely, he's made all of my belts. I've got another one coming in the mail.
Okay.
I actually just got an AEW World Heavyweight Championship that it looks absolutely pristine. It is absolutely awesome. I'll definitely pass the information to you.
Every belt that I was involved with was important to me. The JCW belt was probably the most significant, because that was the first time that somebody from another promotion, an indie promotion, went on national television to the #1 wrestling company in the world and fucking said, your belt don't mean shit. This one does. That, my friend, was a punk rock moment. That was a historic part of my career. That was something that was never done before. And we did it on national television on WCW, Monday Nitro, and I was with ICP, who was banned by MTV and was under investigation by the FBI at that time. And we went out with Twisted jerseys. So we supported the label, the underground, the fans, and indie wrestling. But no one ever talks about that. They're all worried about Sting and his makeup.
Mm-hmm.
We were the ones who broke that mold. It was us, and that was the greatest moment of my career.
Absolutely. And just while we are hitting on the topic of belts, for those of you watching, here at Wrestling Review Society, we are having a current giveaway. When we hit 2,000 members on Facebook, all you have to do to be eligible to win is join Wrestling Review Society on Facebook and YouTube, and we're giving away a free championship belt when we hit 2,000 members. All you have to do is join Wrestling Review Society on Facebook and YouTube. So, moving on to some of the other questions. So, you just finished filming your documentary, The Rise and Fall of Vampiro, Nail in a Coffin.
Yes, no, the fall and rise.
Okay, The Fall and Rise of Vampiro, Final Nail in a Coffin. What was it like filming that documentary?
Very sad. Very sad because I don't remember it. That's right around the time that I was diagnosed when I started filming that thing. So I don't remember a lot of it. They did an amazing job of telling a story that I would have never thought existed. Basically what you're seeing is a guy who is Vampiro on the weekends, and in the week he's a single dad to a teenage daughter in a small town in Canada. My daughter didn't really know anything about Vampiro. So when I saw it the first time, I felt like I had been violated. I felt like I had been assaulted. I felt like I had been, I don't know. And then I went home and thought about it. And it was like, that guy on the screen doesn't exist anymore. I don't know him. That guy there was dying. And because I've saved my life, I'm a different person spiritually, emotionally. My conscious level is very high. Morally, I'm great. I'm in my bank. Like, that was 4 years ago. So who I am today is not even. So then I went and saw it with my daughter, and I was so paranoid because we got divorced when my daughter was a baby, so she didn't never see her mom and me together, ever. Now we're talking again because of my daughter's reaction in this movie. There's a scene of my wedding in this movie. I don't know where they got it. I didn't give them permission. They didn't ask me, those fuckers. And it's okay because it tells the story. And I looked over at my daughter when that was on the screen, and she was so happy. I called my ex-wife and I said, hey, do you realize that because of our egos that our daughter has never seen us even say hello? So I saw the change that it did in her, and it was part of my approach to getting better, because it's like, this isn't about me. Me getting better is going to change my daughter's perspective of who I was or who I am. It's so emotional to see that movie because I'm steps away from dying. I'm surprised I didn't die during the movie, recording it. So we're doing part 2 now. My recuperation, everything that I'm doing with the meditation, all the videos you see, it's all part of the next step. So it was very, 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 very difficult to see the movie. Doing it, I don't remember.
Was there anything during the filming of the movie that makes you say that you're surprised you didn't die during it, or is it just a collectiveness of, your health and getting better, or was there something in particular that happened?
I mean, you can see it. That was right before I stopped using all the pain meds. That was right before I switched my diet. That was right before I got professional and psychological, mental, spiritual, and physical help. That was before it was right at the diagnosis. So you can see me going from a curb. A curb is what? 5 inches? I have to hold onto a pole and go backwards. It takes me about 2 minutes to take one step, and then 2 minutes to take another step to go down the curb. I was paralyzed. I was like 360 pounds. I was intoxicated from the amount of drugs I was taking, and we all thought I was healthy. So when I saw that, it was like, fuck, I'm dying. This isn't what's supposed to happen. So there was a lot of emotions in that movie. And then, there were some things in there to talk about my past, drug use and crime. And I was like, man, my daughter's going to fucking just get up and walk away and never talk to me again. She looked at me and she laughed her ass off at me. She goes, "There's no way you're full of shit." And I was like, thank God. She just laughed at me and thought I was an idiot. So it was okay.
And your daughter's starting to take her own career path, getting into modeling and stuff like that. You must be very proud of her.
I'm extremely proud of her. I'm in a great place. Her and I are in a great place as father and daughter, and it's heartbreaking that I'm sick. I know I'm not going to grow old. I don't think I'm going to die tomorrow, but I'm a realist, and I'm sick. So I'm doing everything I can to get spiritually okay. The meditation, the mental health, the treatments, so that I can prepare for my ascension. I can be there. I can be okay. The meditation is really, really the key to success in life, my friend. And I'm dedicating whatever it is I do, economically, spiritually, professionally. Anything that's going on is geared towards her future, as it should have been, as it should be, as it was, as it is, as it's going to be. All I want to do is make sure my daughter's okay. I can guide her and watch her grow, and that's all I need. I don't need anything else, man. That's it.
Now, you've really become somewhat of a spokesperson for mental health and taking the steps to get yourself better. Like you said, when you first let the news break that you were going through all this stuff, you got support from everybody. Were you always so positive about it, or was there a time where this really hit you and it caused depression, or were you always just, I could read the same book every day and it'd be new?
No, I was ecstatic. As soon as I got diagnosed, I was like, fuck, now I get it. And it was like, okay, so I'm not a loser. Don't got to be depressed for that. I'm not antisocial because I don't like people. I have agoraphobia because I got mental health issues. I told you guys I wasn't a dick. Things like, it was like, fuck, now I said, hey, man, I'm so sorry, everybody. This is what's going on. And it just changed. And I became positive and I became spiritual. And I had this monstrous mountain to climb and this huge, what am I going to do? Oh, poor me. It was just so bad. I had to get a GoFundMe page started because they told me the only thing I can do, let's do stem cell. And then as soon as I started fighting this and I looked for alternative medicine and I started working with a doctor who practices Chinese medicine, I changed my supplement routine, my eating, the medicinal marijuana, the meditation. And I was like, I'm getting better. And work started to come. And I was like, right away, I was like, hey, everybody, thank you for the support on the GoFundMe, but I'm stopping it right now. The money that was raised, I'm using it for an alternative route with medicine. I'm not going to go the stem cell route. And I stopped the GoFundMe, and I started, because I said, hey, I'm not dead. I can work for myself now. So I'm not in a good place economically. I'm fucked, but I'm so good inside, man. And I'm coming out on the other end, and things are changing. And I'm telling you, spiritually, I'm a trillionaire. There's nobody richer than me in the universe. I'm just that happy. So it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Now speaking of your spiritual growth, you have something coming up where you'll be going to Spain. Can you talk to us about what's going to go on there and what that's going to be like?
Yeah. Well, it's a very long story. You see that?
Yeah.
Where is it?
The Camino de Santiago.
Yeah. So you can Google that. It's centuries old.
600 miles.
Yeah, it's long. I know. Fuck. But you know, many people do it. Um, I'm doing it for a lot of reasons. Because you're forced to sleep in a dormitory. You're forced to. There's a lot of demons, a lot of things. I, I I'm not finding the tools to conquer those demons. So this is going to force me to conquer those demons. Uh, just the fact, if you saw my documentary and you saw what I'm talking about, I'm dying. Now I'm going to walk across Spain. That's the miracle. I got better. You can do this. That's another reason. Another reason is I'm super huge into Ancient Aliens. That's my
Mm-hmm.
favorite TV show. I studied ancient religions. I'm really into that whole scenario. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share something with you. So along the lines, you know, all the temples in the world, I'll give you one. Like the churches that we worship in, they're kind of like built on layers, right? There's 3 or 4 layers in every church. It's kind of built like a mini pyramid, if you think about it. Basically, what that is a 3D reproduction of sound. If you drop a rock in the lake, it vibrates out.
Mm-hmm.
If you take those vibrations and you make them 3D, they become replicas of these temples and pyramids and ancient type architecture. So along the line of the Camino, because the Earth, there's different lines, there's intersecting things, there's energy grids all over the place. If you believe in that, as I do, it's all for a reason. So when you're meditating and you're humming or you're chanting, that vibration, if you do it with many people at the same time, it coincides with the energy of the Earth, and you create this ladder of energy to another dimension, and you get to coexist with our creators. That's the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
So along the walk, there's different temples. There's certain, you know, I'm a Mason. There's Templar things. There's secrets we know of, and it's just a journey for me that's going to fulfill so many things because I'm going to be on the path of enlightenment. I'm working towards my ascension. I'm preparing for what's next. So it's very deep, very, very deep, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like something that's
It's
going to
mind
be,
blowing
yeah, it's
because
kind of hard to wrap your head around it.
yeah, but part of what we believe in. Let me see if I can show you something.
Okay.
And it's proof. It just is. I don't know if I can do it because I need something very strong. But you know, there was a meteor that crashed to Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Millions and millions and billions of years ago, or whatever. And they say, I'm trying to find my light. They say, where the fuck are you? I have everything but a flashlight. Great. Well, they say that meteor, when it crashed, it started life on Earth. And I really wish I could find something that would give me a bright light because you're going to get freaked out. So that rock that crashed to Earth is responsible for our existence. And let me see if this will work. Oh yeah. Okay. This is part of that meteor. And it's part of our spiritual beliefs. This is a magic rock that's full of energy. This has life from another galaxy. Whether you believe in these kind of things or not, it doesn't matter. What matters to me is I have physical proof in my hand right here that something started us. That's it. I believe in God. Of course I do. I'm very religious. But this, what does this look like to you?
It just looks like a rock.
Big black rock. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. But if you put light, yeah, you probably can't.
It's making the ring.
If there's a bright enough light under this, this is crystal clear. And it's a
Really?
turquoise. And it vibrates and it pulsates. So this is not a rock, my friend. This is pure energy from another universe. That's fucking devastating. There's a lot of weird people out there like me. You can buy things like this on the internet, you can find them, but there are people like me who go to the site. And one of my spiritual guys, my partner Gregor, he took this. He gave it to me. You know, this is something that it's proof. It's proof that
Absolutely.
we are not from here. And I absolutely, so when we meditate, like I have smaller versions of it and everything. So the trick with this is when you meditate, you need to have intention. So why am I meditating? Well, I'm asking for this from the universe, but I'm asking it as a favor to mankind. We don't ask for things for ourselves, and we hold this. I'm moving it around, and you can't see it, but I can. There's spots. The blue energy is just there, dude. I don't know. Can you see that?
I can see it when you get it really close to the camera.
Yeah, but you can't see it turn color.
No.
You're seeing black. To me, it's shiny blue. Anyways, so with the meditation, the music is at a certain frequency and certain time frames, so that the vibrations, and then you're humming and you're holding life, and you're in that zone. Your level of consciousness just goes up, man. And I'm telling you, the knowledge just pours in because it's ours. It's who we are. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful. So when people say, "Well, how do you feel about Sting?" I don't. Who? What are you talking about? I'm just told you I'm holding a piece of a rock that's part of our history, of our beginnings on the planet. And you're asking me about Sting and his makeup. It's kind of like, really?
No, absolutely.
You, but
no, I get what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I get really frustrated with wrestling, brother.
So
move on.
So stepping away from wrestling to something that I know you're very passionate about, your music, your band.
Yeah.
You're very big into your music. What do you guys have any tours coming up? Are you guys going on tour soon?
Actually, when I'm done this interview, I'm going straight to the studio because we're recording our album right now, and we're doing the album and some videos for the songs. We got a major tour confirmed and planned in Latin America to start things off. There's going to be some shows. There's a bunch of shows throughout the United States, but we're trying to get on with a band so we can do an actual tour. You know, just playing weekend shows blows balls. But yeah, our big thing is to do Latin America because I've recorded the song. Actually, I'm going now to do the songs in Spanish. It's hardcore. It's punk rock. It's fucking pretty. It's like Hatebreed, Slipknot, Agnostic Front, those kind of bands. It's really, really strong. If you're looking for a love song or a guy who sounds like Justin Bieber, don't come and see me because that's not going to happen. If you want to have that look like, oh my God, this fucking is horrible, and I can't hear anymore, and I'm scared, then come and see me.
Well, I know you're a very busy man. And I do want to be respectful of your time. I do have one final question for you.
You can do 4 questions if you want. Let's do 3.
All right.
3 is a magic number.
3 more questions. I'm going to take the first 2 questions that come in from the audience and the final question that I have for you. So just to show people how much of a nice person you actually are, you told this story about back when MySpace was around. You began talking to this very nice lady, and you ended up being catfished, but you turned it into a very positive situation. Do you mind talking about that?
Wow. You did your homework, huh?
I tried.
You tell the story, and then I'll confirm it, and I'll comment on it.
So this was back before Facebook and there was MySpace. You began talking to a female who you just thought was absolutely gorgeous. You guys had very good conversation, and when it came time for you guys to meet up, you were on your way over to her house, and she messaged you and said, "Just to let you know, I really don't look like what I look like in the pictures." And when you got there, She was a plus size woman, and she was afraid to leave the house. And you said there was a time where I thought to myself, I should just leave. But then you were like, no, you're getting dressed. We're going to dinner. We're going to have a good time. And she was like, no, I can't leave my house. I'm afraid to. And you said, no, you are a beautiful woman. You're going to get dressed. We're going to go to dinner and we're going to have a good time. And that's exactly what you guys did.
Yes. Yeah, that's completely true. It's a little more R-rated. I mean, I was in fear. I was in fear. She told me that she wanted to drug me and rape me. And I was like, just hearing that alone, I'm going to drug myself and rape myself. I had to get the fuck out of it. Dude, it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary because I can only imagine young women who, get lured into all these weird dudes situations, by social media and stuff like that. She was an adult actress. So she was, she had that, she looked like that. And when I don't even know how old I was, 20 something, 30, I don't even know. But it certainly caught my eye because she was messaging me and then I finally, it is what it is. And it was a booty call. But holy shit, dude. Holy shit. I mean, there are some situations where the person will say, hey, and then you see the comedies and the person's like 40 pounds overweight. The girl in the picture was 120. When I met her, she was 570 pounds.
Yeah, I remembered you saying it was about 400-pound difference.
No, yeah. So, and I was raised to be respectful. And
Absolutely.
Right away, I was like, man, I got fucking hook, line, and sinkered here. And, I was really scared. I don't want to get into that part because she said some crazy things. But, yeah, I said, you know what? Fuck it. We're going. It was sad. It was scary, dude, because she sat in the car and the whole fucking car, things like that. And I was, and I looked, and there was people in the parking lot. And I turned around, and even and she didn't speak Spanish, but I could tell they were Latinos, cholo kids. And I was like, if you fucking even think of laughing at her, I will run you the fuck over. So just don't do it, because she didn't need that.
Absolutely.
She didn't fucking need that. That's somebody's daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I had to get the fuck out of there. And as fast as I was looking for escapes, brother, I was looking for escapes like I don't even know. I was really fucking petrified. But, I took her for dinner, and I was very respectful, and I took her home, and that's when it got really weird. But, yeah, I can tell you right now that I got the fuck out of there quick.
Yeah. So one thing I did forget about that I wanted to talk to you about, you are very involved with this photo right here. You are very involved with the Guardian Angels.
Yes, sir.
How did that come to be? Like, what made you say, okay, this is what I want to do? You really dove headfirst into trying to clean up the streets and help the community. What was it about the Guardian Angels that made you say, yes, that's for me?
I saw them when I was 9 years old on the news when they first started, and I'll never forget the image on the television. Late 70s, New York City, bunch of dudes dressed kind of kung fu-ish. They had the cuts, the shirts cut, and they had the. Where are you? They had that. Can you see that?
Yep, the little angel.
Guardian Angels, baby.
Yep.
And the red berets, and it was like these martial artists are going down to the subway in New York City at night to fight crime. I was like, I got to be that guy. I want to be a superhero like those dudes. So my whole life I was aware, and I was always, paying attention. But then when I was getting older, and I was divorced and I wasn't with my daughter, I was kind of like, I got to do something that the community is going to say to my daughter one day, your dad was a good man. He did this for you so that your kids can play in a safe place. So I called Curtis Sliwa, the Guardian Angels in New York City, and I explained to him my situation. I explained to him, listen, I've had this career. I did everything. I told him all about Vampiro, and I said, I don't want to leave wrestling and become a soap opera actor or just be. I believe if I took my fame and I used it for the good and I became a Guardian Angel, and that would open the doors in the communities, and then I can get the message out. And he said, go for it. I did, and that's exactly how it went. I just talked to him the other day. I'm still an active international liaison, and I'm 100. Every time I go somewhere and there's angels, I'm patrolling. I went to New York City for WrestleMania weekend last year for the convention, and I didn't even go to the convention, really. I was in the street with the Angels. I mean, I'm committed to the Guardian Angels till the day I die.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's when you talk about your past and the way you grew up, and like you said, when you were in Canada, you committed a crime, and then you used that to get to Mexico and stuff. Do you think it's a path of redemption for your past?
Oh God, no! I don't regret anything.
Okay.
Some things that I did really bother me if I think about it, but again, God has blessed me with brain trauma. I don't remember a lot of shit, man, so I'm good. I'm okay. But I really didn't do anything like that you would say, oh my God, he's a horrible kid. Yeah, I did crime, but I didn't do anything to anybody innocent. When you're in that environment, we just waited for bad guys, and we waited because, innocents don't have what we want. We want bigger things. So we would wait and wait, and we would stake out the pimps and the drug dealers, and we would beat the pimps. We would find them. We would drive around. We would find them, and we could always tell a pimp, because he had the ninja motorcycle, and we would fucking rock him. And we had a van, so we would take the motorcycle, throw it in the back of the van. We would beat the fucking pimp and take his watch and his rings and everything, and then we would drive away and we'd strip that bike down and then sell it that night. That's what we would do to the pimps, because it was like, get these fuckers off the street. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But drug dealers, yeah, if they were fucking with kids and they were selling their drugs around schools, yeah, they would get fucked up.
And final question coming in from our viewing audience. Are we ever going to see Vampiro appear in the greatest company ever, AEW?
What's that?
Okay, I'll expand on this. Any future wrestling plan? Do you have any future wrestling plans?
I would be happy to be anywhere if it was for a reason. If there was if I was helping the product. To be an old wrestler trying to hang on for one more run, that's not really for me.
But like that coaching position.
Yeah, well, like in Mexico, there's a story with Conan. We're both older, we're both kind of crippled, but we popped the house more than anybody in the country. It is what it is. In the United States, I see something similar that could happen with Chris Jericho. I don't have a problem with Chris. I don't think he has a problem with me. But if I was, WWE would won't even let me go to see a show. So that ain't going to happen. The AEW, their schedule, it fits my life. They don't need me, but if there was ever I just see business with Chris because we're the same age. We were in Mexico together. We were in Japan together. We're from Canada. We're both musicians. It just, there's a story there. So I shot my mouth off, trying to see if there was any interest. It was quite a bit. That would be very, very, very cool, something like that, the Dark Order, all that kind of crazy stuff. But if not, I'm telling you, man, I'm busy. The band's busy. I'm acting. I got a couple movies this year coming up. I got 2 TV series coming up. I'm doing the project, the web page, the YouTube stuff with the spirituality and the meditation in this program. I've kind of moved on.
I know I said that was the final question. I just had one person text me, wanted me to ask you one more. Do you have time for one more question?
Dude, I got nothing but fucking time.
So my friend Jeff Parthay is his childhood hero, favorite wrestler of all time is Hulk Hogan, somebody who put you over very early in your career. He wanted to know your opinions and thoughts on Hulk Hogan.
Okay, first of all, when that happened, I was already 20 years into my career. So nobody put me over at the beginning of my career. I think that Hulk Hogan is the greatest pro wrestler ever, for all of it. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, none of us would have been fans. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, none of us would have had a job in this industry. Hulk Hogan is the guy who inspired us all to go to the gym, inspired us to become pro wrestlers. So many people say, fuck him and do this and that and all that. You know what? Fuck you. Hulk Hogan gave us this industry. Vince McMahon gave us this industry. A lot of the boys are bitter about Mr. McMahon and about Hulk Hogan. It's just sad, man. If you were in his shoes, would you do anything different? Of course you wouldn't. Don't talk shit, man.
Absolutely. Vampiro, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I've had an absolutely great time. I've learned a lot about you that I didn't already know. And I hope that this isn't the last time I get to sit down and talk to you. We're definitely going to get together so I can talk to you about the software that I use. As a matter of fact, if you have time, once I end the broadcast, we can stay right here in the chat room for a little bit.
Dude, the band. I gotta go back to the studio.
No, that's good. I'll inbox you my phone number. We can talk later.
Right, yeah, we're doing the guitars and vocals tonight. Actually, in 22 minutes. They can wait. Fuck them. But I do gotta go. But tomorrow we'll talk for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll inbox you my number. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Wrestling Review Society, the War Room, hosted by Kevin Rodriguez with my very special guest, Vampiro. Thank you so much, sir.
No, thank you for what you do, because it's you who's going to inspire the next generation of kids to be involved in our industry. People with the podcasts, you got to keep it going. Thank you so much. Thank
you for the kind words, sir, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.